Cheers and good morning, my heroes out there. I just wanted to explain this episode. So basically, this is my interview with Cody Dean, who created the goal creation formula, and he has a lot of really awesome resources. I really enjoyed the conversation with him because really that's what it boiled down to. The more that I do these interviews, the more I realize it's just a conversation. And he's a really cool dude. I really appreciate what he's doing in the MLM space and what he's trying to do to give back. So I really hope you enjoy my interview with Cody Dean, and just listen ahead because he's going to give a lot of really good insight with MLM and just coming up with your own goals and how to actually create the things in life that you want to create. So I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. So I am here with Cody Dean, who is the owner and voice of the Cody Dean Show. Cody is a business coach, a podcaster with over 200 episodes, a published author, a network marketer, a funnel builder, and an all-around great guy. He has worked with several Fortune 500 companies and has been helping people get their time back and personal freedom. So I can make a list of a ton of different, accomplishments that you've done, Cody, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth. How would you describe yourself?
Well, overall, I'd consider myself a creator. And I think, and you can see here in the background here, my favorite quote of all time is the best way to predict the future is to create it. And so overall, that's really what I teach is how to create more abundance, success, and freedom in my life and in the individual's life and their business. And I figure that is the best way to give people their power back, their freedom back, is by teaching them how to create more of everything in their life.
It's very cool. A lot of your podcast episodes actually have a ton of different quotes from different sources. One of mine lately is who you are is what you're willing to, who you are is defined by what you're willing to struggle for. And that's by Mark Manson. And it's cool that literally I was going to ask you what your favorite quote was lately. And you took the wind out of my sails. Thank you.
Well, yeah. I figure I feel like that is my mantra for life. And it's really like when I found that quote, when I was just struggling in my sales career, I was doing door to door at the time back in 2014. And I was just struggling. I had $0 in the bank account. It's so funny. I actually had like an overdraft fee on my bank. I got a text. It was after a big sales meeting and they're like trying to jump up and down, make everyone excited. And I walk out of the room and I get this text and I was like, who's texting me? And it's from the bank saying, hey, there's an overdraft fee and we're going to charge you more money because you don't have money. And it's as ironic as it is. It was for my auto ship for my network marketing company at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to cancel my auto ship.
Well, at least you got some, product, I guess.
I got some product on the way. I paid for an auto. Anyway, and I was just dead broke, and I was like 700 miles away. So I'm from Utah and I drove out to California to do door-to-door sales. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I have to figure this out. And this quote, the best way to predict the future is to create it, just hit me, just like ton of bricks. I don't know how I saw it, whether it was social media or somehow. And I was just like, I need to create rather than like react, and rather than just have life happen to me, I need to create my life. And so I started creating sales out of nothing almost. It seemed like I went from selling like one account every week or so to selling 6 that next day, which made me like almost $2,000 in commission in one day. And I was just like, from that point on, I was like, wow, I'm the creator of my life. I can create more abundance and success, freedom in my life because I choose to.
That's incredible. It's like extreme ownership. You literally taking responsibility for all of your actions, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Just that extreme ownership is really important for success. And that's awesome.
Yeah. 100% responsibility, as Jack Canfield talks about extreme ownership, like whatever his name, the Marine, what's his name?
Jocko.
Yeah, something.
I know his first name's Jocko.
Jocko,
But
yeah, taking
huge for like
100% responsibility for your life is like the key that everyone listening to your podcast needs to do. Like wherever you're at in life, just say, okay, I'm here because my actions got me here. And the cool thing about taking like 100% responsibility for your life just means that you can change it. It means you can say, okay, if I got me here, I can get myself out of here. And then I can get to where I actually want to go with intention.
Absolutely. And I guess that's a good segue into like, so taking that initiative and creating your future. Why network marketing?
I feel like network marketing is like a hinge point. It's like a transition point for people. Like for me, it's a place to help people build belief in themselves. It's usually the first point. It's like the gateway drug of entrepreneurship. And so like, if you're familiar with the cash flow quadrants of Robert Kiyosaki of like, Absolutely. Hey, here's an employee and you're trying to transition yourself into a business owner and eventually an investor. Network marketing is like that transition point, that hinge point. Allows people to break down their limiting beliefs of an employee mindset and start realizing, hey, like I can get paid off of my results that I bring and not just by my hours that I put in. And it allows me to eventually build a business and distribution network to get paid off of the good that I provide in what I do. And so I just feel like it's a vehicle where I can really help more people than really almost anywhere else.
Outstanding. So I think it was back in June 2020. I don't know. One of your episodes, you talked about 360 degrees of awareness, and you have to. I understand that you have to be aware of what you're doing. Yes, you can create your future, but you have to know. You have to have a direction. You have to be aware of what's coming in and what's going out of your life. So, do you mind sharing why that is so important as a principle for people?
Yeah. So 360 degrees of awareness is a concept that I teach so imagine a circle, right? It's 360 degrees. And there's really 4 parts. There's the things that you realize that you don't know, right? So there's the things that you know that you don't know. And I compare it to like language, right? So how many different languages are there in the entire world? Like 2,000 different languages. And it's like, okay, if you know 1, maybe 2, that's only 1/10 of 1% if you know 2 languages out of the 2,000. There's probably more with all the different dialects and everything like that. And so you have to figure like, okay, these are the things that I do know, but then there's also, I know that I don't know 1,900 other languages, 1,999 other languages. But then there's also the things you don't know that you don't know, which usually consist of around 98% of that circle of awareness. But to be generous, I usually say, okay, let's say this is what you do know. Let's say 10%. And then there's things that you know that you don't know. But then there's the things you don't know that you don't know, makes up the other 40 or huge amount. It's math. Math. Fill in the circles. It's usually better visually. But the point is, you have to continually increase your awareness of what's out there. At any point, if you think that you know everything, you really put yourself in a hole, and you can't continue to progress in your life.
I 100% agree with you. It's a lot of people out there. The moment you start assuming that you know more than the next person, or if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room kind of thing. Like you can't have a high level of arrogance thinking that you know more than other people, because there's so much out there that really it's impossible to know everything. But to your point, being aware of what's available, even if you don't know it right now, just being aware of it is going to give you a leg up over people that really don't care.
Yeah. And awareness is the first step in what I call the creation formula. So there's awareness, and then there's visualization, action, and then creation. And it's a cycle. It's like a flywheel. And
Mhm.
when you create something, it makes you aware of what's available. And then you can visualize more, and then you can take more actions, and then you create more, and then it continues and builds on itself. But it really all starts with taking that awareness, kind of accountability, taking responsibility of where you currently are, and then visualizing where you want to go, and then taking action towards it, and then creating it. And so, yeah, that's awareness. That's why awareness is so important. And that's actually what I my very first product that I sold was my goal creation journal. And I was selling that free plus shipping offer,
Mhm.
and I started realizing there's a lot of people that love goal setting and motivation in the network marketing space. And so I started transitioning from just motivational and goal setting and what I call goal creation to actually helping network marketers with actual like strategy, actual tactics, online marketing stuff.
So you actually teach marketing inside of network marketing, which is it's a huge misnomer. When people join a network marketing company, they're not taught actual marketing principles. You kind of have to figure that stuff out on your own. Yeah, we're all taught the same thing, make a list of your family and friends, call them until they stop picking up the phone, go to hotel meetings, the stuff that, the tactics that have not worked since the 90s, they keep teaching. And for my own personal selfish question, like I'm a ClickFunnels user as well, and I'm totally biased. So it's cool that you build funnels and you teach these actual marketing principles to generate your leads. In addition to like the courses that you create and the products that you have. So that said, to separate yourself from the network marketing company that you're a part of, why was it important for you to create your own brand, your own business, your own identity, if you will, to separate yourself from that network marketing company?
Yeah. So I've been in a number of network marketing companies. I started in 2013 in network marketing, and I had ups and downs. And one of the big ups and also the big downs was I was building a huge team and got one of the car bonuses. And the reason why I was being so successful is because I went to my coworkers. I was in a gigantic call center. We had like 150 sales reps. I was like, these guys are the perfect people that want to buy my product and services and join a network marketing opportunity because they just love money. They're always open for more opportunities. So I started recruiting like crazy. I was just recruiting like a freaking madman. And up before that, I was in another company, and I did the old school way of trying to talk to all my friends and family, and just burnt so many relationships and so many of the people that I looked up to. And I built up the courage to actually call them or text them, message them, and they just shut me down. And we still don't talk to this day. It's so frustrating. Anyway, I finally found the perfect people, all these sales reps. And I grew this massive team just over in just the 4 or 5 weeks time. And we just started recruiting like crazy. Anyway, all of them, we basically recruited everyone in this entire call center. And then they all come to me like, Cody, so who do we recruit? Who do we sell the product? Who do we get? You've already talked to everyone in the call center here. I was like, oh crap. Maybe you should go talk to your friends and your family. And so my team basically started disintegrating underneath me. And it didn't help that, and this is the point of the story to answer your question, the network marketing company that I was with was more on the financial side of helping people with their money and finances and taxes and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we are going to be doing a supplement company. And I'm here in Utah, so there's a network marketing company on every corner, it seems like, and more pop up every single day, which is totally fine. It shows that it's a thriving industry. But I had sold everyone on the idea that this is not like every other supplement company, every other network marketing company. This is a financial company, and it's not supplements. And everyone's like, this is so cool. And so when they decided to shift, the network marketing company shifted to supplements, my whole entire team was like, well, this is stupid. And they all quit. And so in order to help prevent your team from falling apart, and then also just to help you be able to generate leads, you need to create a business and your own brand in front of your network marketing business. So you're not enslaved to your network marketing company. And I'm all about freedom. And really, freedom comes when you control your products, your services, your distribution. And network marketing, it provides freedom, but also there are some catches, so to speak. And so if you can create a business in front of your network marketing business, it is a perfect yin to yang match.
It makes a lot of sense. So then in your business career or even personal life, we've all had separate aha moments where we kind of realized either something was working or something wasn't working. Out of curiosity, what would be, if you can remember your first aha moment that kind of shifted your mindset from, oh, I don't want to work a 9 to 5, or I don't want to, as Robert Kiyosaki would say, living in the rat race, to get out of it. What was the first shift?
So I used to work in a call center, actually, the same place. We were selling supplements there, and we were all doing really, really well. We were all making over 6 figures. And one day they just decided, hey, you know what? We're just going to shut this down. And I just realized, you know what? Do not want to have and give someone that much control over my life that they can shut down my income at any given moment that they want. And so it was at that moment I decided, you know what? I need to start building my own brand, my own products, my own services, have network marketing as an extra income source as well, and never rely on just one of anything in my life. Never rely on one stream of income, never rely on one set of way to get leads, never rely on one way to stay in touch with your customers. It's always, I realize, you need redundancy to create stability.
Very nice. I'm actually reading a book, How to Be Good at Almost Anything. And for love me, I can't remember the author's name, but he talks about generalization rather than actually being specific or being a niche worker. The idea of being generalized kind of speaks to your point about not having just one source of whatever you're trying to accomplish, whether it's generate leads, contacting your customers, income. Being general in the idea of having, you don't have to be perfect or 90% good at something or 100% good at something. Be 80% and be 80% at a lot of things, because you'll have it's that diversification thing.
Mm-hmm.
So in another one of your episodes, you talked about, it was kind of funny. You're not, I wouldn't say you're a comedian, but you do make some good jokes. Now I got a few chuckles out of a few things that you said.
I laugh at my own jokes. It's great.
I can appreciate that. Me too. And literally, like as you were describing it, I'm like, that's something that I do. And what it is starting things and not finishing them. So yeah. I'm a lot like you in that respect, where I have all these great ideas. I like creating things, and I'll start, going down that road, whether it's, I have my own ebooks and things out there that I've done. And I got all these ideas and I start them, and then I get distracted and don't finish them. So from someone that, me asking to you, what would be some advice that you would give to somebody on how to take the next step to not stop, to keep going, to finish an idea to completion?
So I am extremely ADD, as I have found out more and more about myself. And I was like, wow. And I don't know if I've never been diagnosed ADD, but I just think it's human nature to always be looking for something new, something fresh, something exciting. And which is why we can sell new opportunities so well, because everyone wants to look for a new opportunity, a new way to do something. The challenge though comes because if you never stay at something long enough, you're never actually going to see it to completion. And so what I have found that works really well for me is your environment. And I learned this from Dr. Joe Dispenza. He says, like, your genes are, they fire based on the environment that they are in, the situation in which they're in. And so if you can control your environment as a human being, then it'll make it so much easier for you to see things through to completion. In Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about the people that really succeed in the long term are the ones that can deal with being boring. Like, they just don't get bored about doing the same thing over and over again. Like, you have to go to the gym on a consistent basis, even though it might be boring, even though it might be repetitive. And so you just have to find those habits, those things that you can get into the routine of doing. And the way to really figure that out and stay consistent is by controlling your environment. Once you control your environment, all the inputs, so like get rid of your cell phone, time block your calendar. So you're like, I am just focusing on this right now. Once you control the environment, then you can start shifting your identity. So, I mean, that it goes, there's layers here, right? You pull back the onion, so to speak. You got to control your environment, then it controls your identity. And then you can actually shift into the identity of someone that does the thing that you want to do on a consistent basis and see things through to completion. So hopefully that answers your question of how do I actually get things done without getting distracted.
It does. Being deliberate with your sensory input, the stuff that taking out all, or rather eliminating all the distractions and forcing yourself to do the task. I think it was Ty Lopez, but also I was listening to one of his episodes, and I was talking about, like, so you don't have to be extreme all the time, but if you have something that you're trying to accomplish, if you have to rent out a hotel room and just like tell your friends, family, whatever, then I'm going to be gone for X amount of time because I have this massive goal to accomplish, whether it's record 20 episodes on a podcast or do 10 interviews. But that makes a lot of sense to cut out those distractions.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many answers to the question of, you just have to figure out like what works for you, but definitely start out with your environment, figuring out what is distracting you. And then figure out like what done looks like as well. Like whenever I take on freelance clients to build their funnel or to build out a certain campaign, they have a vision and they're trying to get that to me. And if we don't get clear on exactly like what does done look like for you, then it'll never be done. And then you can feel like you're just running with you're running like a hamster wheel, right? So then you can actually feel like, hey, I'm actually accomplishing something. Keep track of metrics, measure it, track it, and then just always be focusing on how you can improve something rather than like, okay, let's just jump ship over to something else.
Nice. It's kind of like starting with the end in mind. So
yeah, Stephen Covey, one of the success habits.
I do like the fact that you get a lot of the references that I have.
Yes.
I'm a bit of a nerd myself, and I really appreciate listening to you because you go into like some very technical things. I'm like, I like that. So it's you definitely are, well, as all good marketers should be, polarizing. So some people will be attracted to your style of teaching and mentorship, and others don't. And I like the nerd aspect and the technical pieces because I appreciate it for myself.
We can nerd out together.
Very nice. So that's really the core of the interview. So I'd like to ask like 2 questions for people that I do interview. One of them would be, if you could go back in time, let's say you now going back to your 18-year-old self, what would be one piece of advice that you would tell yourself to get to where you are now faster?
I would tell myself to stop caring about what other people think. Like, no matter what you do, there will be someone out there that hates what you're doing, whatever you decide, whether you choose blue or whether you choose red. There's always going to be someone like, well, why didn't you choose red? Well, why didn't you choose blue? Why didn't you do, and so you just make the decision that you feel is right. And not because it's right, not because it's wrong, because it's the thing that you want to do. As soon as people start feeling like I'm doing this because I'm right and everyone else is wrong, they have like an authority complex. And then people start hating them because they've made a choice. And then it allows doubt to come in. You're like, oh, well, maybe I'm not right. Maybe they are correct. Maybe they are right. But if you choose something because you want to do it, because it's the thing that you want to do, not because it's right, not because it's wrong, but because you feel like it's the choice that you want to make, not because of other people, that's where like true freedom really comes in. And so that's what I would tell my 18-year-old self is just do what you want to do, and the universe will take care of you. Like money, wealth, riches, everything will be attracted to you. The right people will come into your life. Right people will fall, or the wrong people will fall out of your life, and you'll be way more happy.
That's awesome. So then, I mean, that's inspiring in itself, but the next question would be like, what makes you feel inspired, or what makes you want to do the work that is necessary when on those days that you don't want to?
How do you motivate yourself when you don't want to do what you should be doing, right?
Yes.
And that's really the key to success of doing what you need to do, even though you don't feel like doing it. And I'd say that's a really tough question of how do you do something that you don't really want to do, even though you need to do it. And I think it comes down to finding something that you enjoy doing, something that you love to do. And because then when those days come in where you're not feeling quite up to it, at least it's something that you enjoy doing most of the time, right? If you are doing something that you just dread and you hate, like for me, it was in network marketing. It was like, I hate cold calling people. I hate prospecting my friends and family. I just do not like it with any fiber in my being. I just do not feel good about it. So I'm never going to do it. But for me, I love making video. And so I'm going down the route of content, making content that I enjoy. And maybe you don't like making videos. Maybe you don't like, talking to friends and family either, but find something that you enjoy doing. So then you can actually stay more consistent with it.
That's some awesome advice right there. So then where can people find out more about what you do and more about you as a whole?
So my new lead magnet that I'm putting out right now is called Recruit Like a Rockstar. So you can go to recruitlikearockstar.com and teach you how I've been able to attract close to 2,800 people now to my network marketing business, and through an automated process that I've come up with and learned over the last few years. So go to recruitlikearockstar.com. It's a free 1-page PDF, teaches the 4 mistakes that you should avoid, and then also the 4-step formula that you can use to recruit on autopilot. And then after you put in your info, then you can click all the places. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow the Facebook group, and you can find me on TikTok as well. I've got about 25,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice.
So
I'll put all that. I was going to say, I was going to put all that in the show notes as well.
Yeah, cool. So again, I'm all about redundancy, right? Be on Facebook, be on YouTube, be on TikTok, be on maybe not Instagram, because Instagram's kind of dying. No worries. No offense there. Even Facebook. But that's the thing, is like, you got to be redundant in your marketing efforts, especially when it comes to like social media. Like, you got to be everywhere. If you don't know how to be everywhere, then follow Terry. He'll teach you. I like what I've heard so far from you. So look forward
Do you
to
have any questions for me? I mean, though you answered everything that I had, and I mean, I have my own notes now. I'm going to be listening to this again as I'm editing it and all that good stuff, and it's helped me out a lot. And I know it's gonna
what's your epiphany story? Like what made you realize, hey, like I don't want to do network marketing the old form of cold messaging, friends and family? Like what was your epiphany with that?
So like in 2013, 2014, I used to be in the Army, and this is up in Devens, Massachusetts. So my first introduction to MLM and this whole idea of selling things in general, whether it's online or person to person, I was very, very new to me. And I went to a home presentation with one of what we call them battle buddies. And his dad was the one that was giving the presentation, and he did an amazing job. Talked about how you recruit two people, they recruit two people, they recruit two people, and then all of a sudden you're a millionaire. I'm like, wow, this is a thing. So then I here, take my money. So I went through that process, and I went to we went to two different large conventions. It was actually two MLMs together. Well, it was a marketing arm and an actual product piece. And they basically created a union, and the MLM reps, which is what I was, you had to buy into both. You can do either one or the other, but to be successful, you had to join both. So they took my money. I went to all the conventions. I'm like, this is kind of weird, very different than what I was expecting. I made a list of my family and friends, and I'm super hyped, and they pumped me up. And as we're going into the hotel, I'm like, hey, do you want to make money? You want to be rich? What is your plan? And after doing that for about a year, I realized that my efforts weren't paying off. I recruited a handful of people and burnt myself out. So then I stopped for a while, but I still like the idea of residual income, basically being paid off other people's efforts. And I like this idea because it's very common on the online world. Affiliate marketing does it very well, and that's an entirely other beast. So fast forward a couple of years, I'm a chef at a restaurant down here in Charlotte, and I realized that 90 hours a week kind of suck. I was investing a lot of time and effort, and at that time I made a whole extra $20,000 a year and that includes the overtime. I was working 2 jobs, 90 hours a week, and I'm like, there has to be a better way because I'm always tired and miserable. So someone approached me with another MLM, and this time it was like a sports nutrition one. I'm like, oh, I like working out. So I gave it a shot, and I liked the culture a lot more. And then I found Grant Cardone at the 10X Growth Con. So
which
that
year?
was in
2018.
2018, yeah, the very first one where Russell Brunson made $3 million on stage.
Nice. I was there too.
I raised my hand and I helped pay for that $3 million. So that's my claim to fame.
Nice.
I bought ClickFunnels at that time because he basically broke down that I don't have to talk to family and friends. Like, I can use the internet as a leveraging tool. So that was my first aha moment. I knew that MLM worked. I just didn't know how to make it work because I refused to talk to family and friends because, not like you, I mean, I have a handful of people that will not pick up the phone for me anymore because they think I'm going to sell them something or try to are you in a pyramid thingy? I'm like, hey, you don't have any idea, whatever. So
Right.
my aha moment was using this whole funnel idea that led me to Steve Larson, and I created a podcast to teach people the newer principles that you don't have to do just one thing. There are so many ways to create success, and success is defined differently from person to person because what success is to me is very different than you. We may have some similarities, but it's unique to the individual. But how you get there, you need to have systems and tools in place. And that's where funnel is used as a tool with the application of MLM. It just blew my mind. And now I just follow the process, and now I'm here.
I love it. That's awesome. That's great, man.
But yeah, that's really it for the podcast. I definitely, if you want to reiterate your link, so that way I can put it in here. Like I said, I'm gonna put everything in the show notes as well, so that way people can actually copy it.
Yeah, I can send it to you. But the URL is recruitlikearockstar.com. And then just find me on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Love to connect. And I'm glad we're connected now. So we'll keep each other in each other's network here.
Well, I appreciate it, Cody. I will close it out now, but thank you very much for your time. And
Thank you.
I appreciate you giving me your time.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll see you, everyone.